My name is Charlotte Ryan and my student registration number is 11310286. The question I'm going to discuss is criminal prosecution of speech online. Do we have the right balance? The reason for me choosing this question to base my research on is because I believe I have a personal involvement in the topic. This is because I use social media on a daily basis to express and voice my views and opinions like millions of other people all over the world. Therefore, I could potentially be criminally prosecuted for voicing my opinion if it is deemed under the interim guidelines to be criminally offensive and in the public's interest to take me to court. As well as being in the public's interest, the communication must be either communication that are credible threats of violence, for example, a threat to kill, harassment or stalking seen as aggressive internet trailing under the Protection from Harassment Act 1997, or posts which breach court orders including offences under the Contempt of Court Act 1981. For example, when Jamie Bulger's killer's new identity was revealed over Twitter, it was questioned whether there had been a breach of contempt of court. And that was found on the Daily Mail Online, which was published on the 14th of February 2013. However, communication which does not fit into any of these categories are considered separately. Therefore, communication that is grossly offensive or indecent would come under Section 127 of the Communications Act 2003. It must be asked, what is grossly offensive? It must be looked further into to establish the real meaning, as every member of the public has their own opinion and judgment. Therefore, one way of saying something to one person could be completely different to the other person. A similar thing to this happened in the case of Chambers and DPP in 2012, where Chambers tweeted that he was going to blow the airport that he was in up, which actually to him was a joke because his plane had been delayed. It also was not recognised for a few days before somebody picked up on it and they personally found it offensive. The House of Lords, he was prosecuted and the House of Lords agreed the judgment call was wrong. This is proof that people think differently and misjudgments can come about. The problem we have here is that every human being is entitled to the freedom of expression under Article 10 of the Human Rights Act. Everyone has a right to voice their opinion, as Keir Starmer QC confirmed when he was actually discussing the new guidelines on prosecuting cases. However, there is a thin line between being offensive and merely speaking an opinion. With an astonishing 1.7 billion people on social networking sites, how can we be sure what is meant by somebody speaking something through the internet and not face to face? With 1.7 billion being on social networking sites, does this show that that the amount of people being prosecuted is going to rise? Javed Khan, head of Victim of Support, states that the emotional and psychological scars on the victims of media sites could be everlasting if they're not acted upon. But how far can you take the freedom of expression, and how far do you go to protect people on media sites to make the balance right?